and welcome to another episode of Todd Talk. Because when Todd talks, people listen. Hopefully. So we are back in the death battle swing of things, and I'm doing this one a little early because I'm going to be out this weekend. But we have Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers, not Shazam. That's the other Captain Marvel, versus Android 18 from Dragon Ball Z. Now, I've already heard a lot of people, including you on the Screw Attack forums, already showing your displeasure over this matchup because you don't think this should be a matchup. You think that this is totally one-sided, and maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But I mean, here's the thing. Remember, Death Battle doesn't do these battles 9.5 times out of 10. They don't do battles unless it's requested. So clearly, somebody wanted to see this matchup, and I'm actually excited for this matchup. Even though, full disclosure, it's 2D. This is the third 2D battle in a row. They haven't done that in seasons. I mean like actual seasons. So I'm really hoping whatever Torian is working on, which better be the next episode, it's got to be good, because I mean I'm just saying it's got to be good. But yeah, so Carol Danvers versus Android 18. I mean, at its core, it's a very simplistic connections. They're blonde blasters, I believe they called it in the Death Battle cast. And I know some people are mad about that. I'm like, Tifa versus Yang was all about punchers. That was it, Shovel Knight versus Scrooge McDuck was treasure hunters who had pogo stick abilities. Not much connection there. So don't try and overthink it, okay? Now, as for these characters, Carol Danvers has been a part of Marvel for a very long time. Has taken numerous names, but recently, with her ascension to the Captain Marvel title, she really took off on her own, which is amazing, because again, she's been around a while. Like when I came into comics, she was Miss Marvel, had been that way for a long time. She was in the I think her third costume, one of her more classic ones, and she was great. She was a good character even then, but then she got into her own comic with Kelly Sue DeConnick as her writer, who basically transformed her into Captain Marvel, and it just took off. I mean, she's been like a staple in Marvel Comics ever since. She's led the Ultimates. She was one of the forces behind Civil War II. Let's not talk about that. And now she's got her own comic again. She's like one of the top figures in the Marvel universe, and of course, she's getting her own solo film, which will be the first solo-led female lead. I guess I said it wrong. Sorry, solo female-led movie. Okay, because we have Ant-Man and the Wasp, which is a co-op thing. So I would just like to note that Wonder Woman beat Captain Marvel by a couple of years. And my last episode was about Wonder Woman, so if you haven't seen that, go and check that out. Wonder Woman! But no, I'm very excited for this, and even though Captain Marvel hasn't been, announced, actress... No, wait, that's not right. Brie Larson, yeah, Brie Larson is going to be Captain Marvel, so that's really cool. But it just shows that in a short period of time, with the right writer, you can just have your popularity skyrocket. And as I was, learning more about Captain Marvel, Carol, she's got a lot of skills. I mean, she is easily one of the most capable fighters in the Marvel Universe. And this comes from both her training as an Avenger. She is a military woman. She is incredibly bright and intelligent. She has a lot. And that's not even counting, her Kree abilities, which are obviously going to be an important point in this death battle. Don't know why I'm doing this a lot today. I'm antsy. That's what I do. Easily some of her best ones are energy projections. She can harness energy. She can absorb energy. I knew that, but I guess I didn't know the extent of it. But yeah, she can absorb just about any kind of energy out there, and she's had the chance to absorb a lot. And this makes her basically an invaluable member of the Avengers or whatever team she's on, because should the opportunity arise and she can take a hit, she will, and that actually augments her strength. And then because of her absorption ability, she actually can enhance her strength, her speed, she actually has a healing factor technically because of this, and that makes her very invaluable. And like in the current Secret Empire comic event that's going on, Captain America, Hail Hydra thing, Carol is leading the forces out in space to try and keep them alive, while the Chitauri are trying to invade Earth to get the queen. It's a long story, but again, she's taking on waves of Chitauri and still is conscious. So she's done a lot, and I mean we're talking between her Miss Marvel form, her binary form, which I'll get to, and then Captain Marvel. She's got years of experience fighting cataclysmic threats, basically every comic, and that means a lot in a death battle. Now, then you got Android 18, who's a little bit of a different case, because obviously she was one of the focuses in the Android saga and in the Cell saga because of her creation by Dr. Gero. I always had a weird thing about the Android saga. I don't know. It was just, it was really, really good. And then the Cell saga came, and that was really, really good. And then, Android 18 survived, and it was really, really good. And then Krillin got married and had a kid. It was all nice and lovely. And, I guess I just haven't really thought about her as a combatant in Death Battle. Because obviously you got Vegeta, you got Majin Buu, you got Goku twice. I'm sorry, Goku deserved to lose. He did. I'm sorry. That's another Todd talk. But I'm glad they're bringing him in. And I was watching the Death Battle cast, and again, I always recommend you watch that. They talked about how they really wanted to bring her in because she just hasn't gotten that much spotlight since the Android saga, and obviously she is in Dragon Ball Super and is going to be part of the Tournament of Power, but it hasn't been the same, and so they're really trying to bring spotlight back to her while Super's doing its own thing. And I know there's going to be some people mad about saying, oh wait a minute, they're doing this battle during Super when she could totally reveal this epic superpower thing, and you're half right. They could totally do that, which is what Dragon Ball does nowadays, but it may not matter in the end, and I'll explain more later. But Android 18 is incredibly tough. I mean, she has consistently gone up against Saiyans and beaten Saiyans. I mean, she legendarily broke Vegeta's arm with one kick. I mean, dang. She's beaten both Goten and Trunks, I believe. Young Trunks, like baby Trunks. During one of the World Martial Arts tournaments when they were trying to be the masked, what was it, Masked Man or something like that. Yeah, that was a funny episode. I do remember that was a funny episode. But she's tough. She's a tough lady, and it's probably because she's an android cyborg thing. But she has these lightning fast reflexes. She doesn't show pain that easily. She can take damage and just keep giving it out. She's got obviously numerous energy attacks and special abilities. She's pretty epic, and even going into Super, she apparently kicked. I didn't see this episode. She apparently kicked a suppressed version of Super Saiyan God Goku's. Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan. It's a stupid name. Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan Goku's Kamehameha wave. Now he admitted this was a suppressed version because he wasn't trying to kill. This was during a sparring match, but she still kicked it. And this is Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan Goku. That's pretty impressive. But again, she's taken on numerous Super Saiyans. She even fought Cell, even though it didn't really work out well. She's always up for her protecting her own, including especially Krillin and their daughter Marin. She's only died because of cheap tricks and world busting. So she's tougher than you think, despite her not having a lot of spotlight time outside once she got married to Krillin. Because after then she really hasn't fought outside the one time where she it basically blackmailed Hercule Satan into so that she would let him win. That was hilarious. I mean, I love that apparently she has this thing for money. Like, she doesn't work for free. And then, in the battle of Satan, he's like, please let me win. And she's like, why would I do that? And I'll pay you. How much? I'm not gonna say the line you want me to say, but in the end, she is incredibly powerful. She has all these attacks. She's been in numerous fighting games across the Dragon Ball Z line. She was actually voted in Japan number 10 of the top 20 Dragon Ball Z characters of all time, which was the highest female character by far. Pretty impressive. And she's consistently said that she's stronger than a lot of the Z fighters. Death Battle hates that Krillin keeps getting more combat action than her when she openly admits that she's stronger. But stated that, you know, she needs to protect Marin, even though it's hard to do when the planet's getting blown up. It's one of those things. Now, where does that leave the death battle? This is a little bit complicated in this aspect. There is a wild card here. Actually, there's two wild cards here, but one is not what you might think. Number one, Carol, Captain Marvel, can absorb energy, as we said. So this kind of feels like a Natsu Portgas Diaz kind of situation, except it's not the same. Yes, she can absorb energy and then redirect it, but that's not. That doesn't mean she's invincible. Much like Natsu wasn't invincible. Second of all, unlike Natsu, one of Android 18 is incredibly powerful on her own. So the moment that, you know, she realizes, oh, this girl can absorb my attacks, she can just go into martial arts skills and theoretically kill her. But the question is, will she? And even then, you know, it could be a situation where I believe it was like Portgas, where, you know, Carol has to willingly absorb the energy. And if she doesn't, she can still get blindsided, which, you know, Android 18 is very, very fast, just like Carol. So this could be a little bit closer than you think. The wild card is Binary. If you don't know, Binary was one of Captain Marvel's, Carol's past aliases. But it was also her most powerful form, in which she had the power equivalent to a white hole, which, think of it, if a black hole is that powerful, a white hole is equally just as powerful, and she has some pretty powerful attacks. Now, it's specifically stated that she does not have the power of Binary at any given moment. But if Carol can absorb enough energy, which theoretically via Android 18 she could, she can temporarily get back her Binary form. And if that happens, she'll have control over light, over gravity, have super increased strength, speed, stamina, everything. And that's the big wild card here. If Captain Marvel goes Binary, which is still possible, I believe she even did it recently in the comics as Captain Marvel, if she goes Binary, Android 18 screwed. If she doesn't, it's a little bit closer than people are probably saying, but it's a wild card I just can't ignore. So I am going to choose Captain Marvel to beat Android 18. So there is my official pick. And with that, I will end this 51st episode of Todd Talk. Who do you think is going to win between Captain Marvel and Android 18? Who do you think is the next death battle? I really want to know your thoughts, because I've seen like a leaked list, but I'm not sure if it's believable or not. So, you know, until I see the preview, we're not going to know. So let me know in the comments below. Be sure to check out my last episode where I did a dedication to the Wonder Woman movie. It was really, really good. I recommend you go see it in theaters. So thank you for watching. If you made it this far, I know you were listening, and I will see you around.